up, guys? Clint Lund here, London Max. You know what time it is. I got a shipment in the other day, and it's just the right size and just the right potential to be our KX starting shaft. So, you can tell by the Cheese Bay logo on it. Anyway. It's taken me a lot to get to this point because I've just been upset over and over and over again by this turd. So it took me a couple days to kind of muster up the cigarettes a little bit so I can attack this thing, and hopefully this time I'm going to go through the ignition. I'm going to put in a new Kickstarter shaft along with the correct Kickstarter lever. Fresh oil, fresh antifreeze, fresh plug. It's a two-stroke. I mean, it's a two-stroke, for God's sakes. They need oil and the gas. They need air, fuel, and fire, and they get it. But this 500 has just been a pain in my ass. But anyways, if this fails today, then I will be doing the decomp, the head decomp mod. Adam Millar, if you guys not familiar with Adam Millar up at MRE, up in the Canadias, he agreed to take on the challenge of putting in a decomp button for this thing. I would love to get it started on its own, and but it sounds like long term it's just a good move anyway to put on those decomp things. It saves Kickstarters, it saves your leg, it saves a lot of things, so that might be in my near future here. But anyways, I'm going to crack into this thing, start putting it together with the new shaft, which I hope is right. It said. But here we go. I got the shaft switched over. I'm not extremely happy with it. It does have a little bit of... get the focus onto this thing here for a second. There we go. It's got a little bit of, I don't know, burr marks, I guess. But it's going to have to do. If I switch over all the components, get those all cleaned up. This is the shaft that came out of it. So, if you didn't see the video where I did this, do yourself a favor, go back and see it, because it's worth the watch. It's worth the watch, all the ones regarding this KX500, because it's just been such a nightmare. But this shaft, last kick, I kicked it over, and the Kickstarter did not return. I imagine because the angle of this thing is not quite as straight as it should be, and it got hung up. Anyway, so those are all the parts. Got switched over, or should I say those are all the old parts of the Kickstarter. Here's all the new stuff. Focus, you dang thing. There we go. I just went through and kind of wiped everything and sprayed it with WD-40, got all the dirt and schmutz off of it. So I am going to set you guys up over here. I'm going to gather my tools, and we're going to do some time lapse. Well, after a little bit of diddling, I was able to get it all back together. On this side anyway, I'm going to stand it up, put some fluids into it, get the Kickstarter back on. Oh, we love the Kickstarter, right boys? And I'm going to pull off the ignition cover side. I'm going to check timing on this thing before I put a foot to it again. But here she lays. Okay, well let's see what the timing gods have left us with. Let's pray that it sheared a keyway or something like that. The keyway would be easy to fix. These things, they got enough torque, that's for sure, to shear a keyway. So let's see here. Well, she's not the prettiest one I've ever seen. It doesn't seem right away that the keyway's sheared. So I'll probably pull this flywheel. From here. No. Alright. Man, it's messy in here though. Probably could beneficial from a good cleaning, so I might get on that. I could tell someone's messed with that stator though. It doesn't look quite right. Alright, had to get my flywheel pulling materials. Guess I should have been more specific when I said I could tell someone's messed with this flywheel. There's like a countersink right here where someone either pulled the flywheel before with like the prong style. What is that? That's never supposed to happen. You're never supposed to just pull these off by hand. You always have to use a puller tool. So, and sure enough, our keyway is sheared off. Fixed, huh? Well, that explains a lot. Yeah. Alright. So I get to dig that thing out. Backside of the flywheel. There's the other half of the keyway. Get Santos in there. Focus, you friggin' thing. Well, I could see it in there. I think you could kind of see it too. It's pinched off in there. And the other half is in there. So, there is our problem. There is why we're breaking Kickstarter shafts. Oh my gosh, look at these things too. I could clean these up a little bit, don't you think? Oh my goodness. As far as getting a keyway in this, there's a couple spots here in town I can try. It's going to be hard to guess this one because it's been sheared if I had one intact. But I'm going to guess that this thing's been sheared for a while. It only took me a few Kickstarters to check it. But I definitely am going to pull off all of this stuff, get it cleaned up, and go find myself a keyway. So there we go. 2 halves of a sheared keyway. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say someone pulled it apart. They didn't correctly torque down the flywheel or didn't tighten the flywheel at all. And it sheared this keyway. Woodruff key, whatever you want to call it. But at least now there's a little bit of sun on the horizon. Because yeah, I think that this thing was advancing itself every other kick. It would spin and throw the timing off. There we go. Fixed, huh? Just mashed this thing too. Whoever was in here last. Just mash this thing. Hopefully it still works. I think it will. I'm going to go hunt down a keyway. I'm going to check my own stock first. See if I got something that'll work. But I'm kind of stoked. Because like now I'm pretty certain we can get this thing started. And I think it'll pop over correctly. It won't bind because the ignition's advancing itself, and the sparks hitting as the piston's coming up too early, and basically it's causing it to lock. So I'll check. I have a couple. I save some keyways. Sometimes if I do a crankshaft and they're looking a little chewed, I'll save them. But I don't think I have any, so might need to run to the store. But either way, even if I could find something remotely similar, I'll fab it up and I will make it happen. That's a promise. It's a promise, okay? We'll get this thing fired if the Kickstarters hold up. Alright, so long break for me, short break for you. Alright, well, I'm back. I went down to the hardware store. They didn't have any metric size pins, so I bought a 1/8 inch one. I just had to file it down a little bit. But anyways, I got it in there. It's nice and snug. Flywheel fits perfectly. I have the timing mark set to the middle. But here is my question for you 500 aficionados out there, if there is any that watch my channel. Okay, I'm going up to top dead center now. Super strong, can barely turn it. Need two hands, hang on. Just gonna get top dead center real quick. Alright. Sorry about that. Focus, you dang thing. Okay, you see that mark on the flywheel? It's with its top dead center, it meets the last line on the base plate, and that's with these lugs perfectly centered. But I just noticed something else. This case is aluminum colored and the other one is black. So obviously someone's been in this thing and has changed the cases, because one side's aluminum, the other side's black. I'm wondering if this is like the wrong ignition system for this year. So I'm gonna have to do a little reconnaissance here. But anyways, just to save you a little bit of story here, I've gone through all the wiring, gone through putting on, you know, two different plugs, pulled out the air filter, I shot some ether through the back of the carburetor, and I've kick-started it. Now this is the best part. I've kick-started it probably like 40 times, right? It hasn't broken. So I think the broken Kickstarter problem was at the stator. It was just floating around in there, and it would backfire and break. So at least we got that figured out. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I'm gonna make some phone calls, call my buddy Adam Millar, or at least send him a message, see what he thinks. To me, this thing should fire, but something about the timing mark on that stator being on the last mark of the stator plate doesn't sound right. So it makes me wonder if someone changed this case over and tried using the old electrical, and the bolting pattern for the stator plate is not the same, if you know what I mean. So it's a possibility. All I'm getting right now when I'm kickstarting it is I'm getting backfiring, thankfully not through the kickstart lever. It's post. After I kick, it goes BAM. So just gonna be I think we're getting closer, guys. We're getting closer. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in today. Sorry this wasn't the main event where we get to fire this thing and hear it run, but we are getting so close. And thank you to each and every one of you who tune in each week and leave a comment and a like and a subscribe. I appreciate all you guys. We're not going to give up on this thing yet. We're going to keep plugging. And, man, I really just wanted to hear it run today. But, Anyways, I've had lots of other questions. I'll get all, I promise, like, the first day after I post a video, guys, I try to answer your questions as fast as I can. Otherwise, the notifications of the week, they're just so hard to even respond to. But yes, the shop garage, whatever, is extremely full of bikes right now. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because there's 2 there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 with the KX5. So I got my hands full. I try to get the videos done in between working as often as I can, but it's a lot. But I know you guys love the 500, and I love seeing how you guys are pumped up for it. We'll get figured out, guys. If you have any knowledge of these 87s and it just something sounds fishy about that left side case being the aluminum color, not black, so that tells me it's been changed. Also, I'm going to pop this head off, make sure the piston isn't backwards in it or something like that. Send this head off to MRE up in Canada. Adam Millar, if you guys have not heard of this guy, he is one of the top 500 aficionados in the world. I don't know. He knows his stuff. He has a machine shop, and he does some really amazing bikes. And but anyways, I'm going to send this cylinder head up to him, have him put a decomp mod on it, and they'll save my foot, because right now my foot is screaming because I wore T-shoes and not a boot. And I mean like a boot that you wear, not a bout, to you Canadians. Just messing with you guys. Anyways, from the shop garage, whatever, the Central Coast, this is Clint London. I will see you guys later. Peace out, guys.